Book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and verse 3. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, all glory, all praise to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Rakah HaKwadash. I want to give double honors to our apostles, our bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. I want to give double honors to the high priest elders that taught those men. Salutations to you brothers that are presenting your bodies as a living sacrifice, pushing the gospel of the Lord, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, through the four corners of the earth. To Yakim and Akwatha, and to you I say Shalom. It's Brother Ball Malak out of Great Millstone Camp, Austin, coming at you with a quick lesson. And the name of this lesson is Keep the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah's name on your heart, on your mind, and keep your head on a swivel in 2025 and going forward. Because why? Because the days are evil, man. And keeping your head on a swivel, as a matter of fact, I'm going to pull it up so you'll understand what's going on. It said when someone tells you to keep your head on a swivel, they're telling you to keep alert. Be aware. Why? Because the days are evil of everything around you, and be cautious. Visualize a head on a swivel. You know, this term would used to be used in football, you know, when you used to have a lot of crackbacks. You know, that's what they told you growing up when you were playing football. Boy, you better keep your head on a swivel. But even more so now, because what? Because wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, man. You know, that's why you got to walk circumspectly. And we're going to bring out those two precepts. It said, visualize a head on a swivel, looking left and right constantly, being aware of what's around and what might be approaching. Never be taken by surprise. And you can't be taken by surprise if you, number one, if you keep the name of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, name on your heart, and you keep your head on a swivel, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be taken by surprise, man. So let's go to the book. I don't have this pulled up. Let's go to the second Esdras. Let's go to second Esdras. Got to go to the apocrypha. Second Esdras, chapter 15. Go right down to second Esdras 15 and verse 6. You know, because what a prudent man foreseeth the evil, hiding himself, but the simple passed on and are punished. Why? Because you got to understand, because wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and the hurtful works are fulfilled. And wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and the hurtful works are fulfilled. You got to keep your head on a swivel. You got to always be looking out. When you go to a restaurant, when you go to a bar, when you go just out and about, you always got to be looking around, keeping your head on that swivel. Why? Let's go to the book of Job. This is why. You know, the earth. Let's go to the book of Job. So I got it up here. The book of Job, chapter 9 and verse 24. Because the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? You know, number one, because Esau, Edom, so-called self-professed white man on the planet Earth, he is the wicked that the Bible speaks of. And what? And he's ruling the earth in wickedness. Everything and anything can go here in America, Babylon the Great, which is spoken of in the Holy Scriptures, man. That's just why, you know, wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth. It tells you in the book of First Maccabees is that when Alexander, you know, the Crete passed, you know, his so-called generals, they crowned themselves and evils multiplied on the earth. Matter of fact, let's just get it. You know, since I mean paraphrasing, let's go to First Maccabees. It said, this is book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 7. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died, and his servants bare rule, everyone in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. So when Esau, he took the helm, you know, the evils started getting multiplied in the earth. That's why you have to walk circumspectly and not as fools, man. Matter of fact, let's get there. Let's go to book of Ephesians. The book of Ephesians, chapter 5 and verse 14. It said, wherefore if he said, awake thou that sleepeth, and arise from the dead, and Yahweh shall give thee light, and Yahweh shall gonna give you light. And we know that 2/3 of the Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans are dead. They're sleepwalking. They're spiritually dead. And it says again, wherefore he said, awake thou that sleepeth, and rise from the dead, and Hamashiach, Yahweh shall give thee light. You know, Hamashiach, Yahweh is going to give thee light. You're not going to be able to wake up to yourself, You're not going to be able to wake up the way the church tell you that all you got to do is come to Jesus, have a Jesus moment. No, let's go to the St. John, verse 6 and 44. It said, no man, this is in the red letter, this is Hamashiach Yahushua speaking, no man can come to me except the Father, Yahweh, which have sent me. And his Yahweh sent his son, Yahushua Hamashiach, sent me, draw him, and I will raise him up at the last day. And we are in the last days. Since when Yahushua Bashem Yahushua, Mashiach Yahushua came on the scene, that was the beginning of the last days. And we're in the last of the last moments of the days, man. And again, you can't just wake up out of bed one day and say you give your I'm giving my life to Christ. No, I'm giving my life to God or Jesus. No, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, was sent by his father Yahweh, and his father Yahweh, allowed Hamashiach Yahushua to draw us in, the hopeful elect, that remnant that will call on the name of the Lord Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua, in these last days. So again, you can't have a Jesus moment and receive the truth of the Holy Scriptures, man. Let's go to and again back to Ephesians. Again, Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 14. Wherefore, if he said, awake thou that sleepeth, we know that 2/3 of the Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans are asleep, and arise from the dead, and Yahweh shall give thee light. See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. You got to walk wise. You got to walk, in the light of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Why? Because, because wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and the hurtful works are fulfilled. It's a redeeming of time, because the days are evil, and the days are evil, man. What we got? We got an uptick in dog bites. Matter of fact, got this right here. This is a timeline of dog attacks from 2024 to 2025, man. Pasadena, North Houston. You got Liberty County. You got all these upticks. Up here, a dog owner charged in December. Woman was left severely injured. You got January 21st, 2025, 3 dogs attacked a 7-year-old, bystander, a 7-year-old. And what a dog owner will tell you, oh, my dog don't bite. If a dog got teeth, the dogs will bite. And you also got some cases and instances up here where you got little babies, man. You got toddlers that were being attacked by dogs. It said a 2-year-old girl died after being mauled by a dog. This is in 2024 by 3 Rottweilers. So this is an uptick of dog bites, man. But it's all scriptural, man. Let's go to the book of Jeremiah. It's Jeremiah 15 and 3. And this is the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua speaking. He said, and I will point over them 4 kinds, saith the Lord Yahweh, the sword to slay, the dogs to tear, and the fowls of heaven, and the beasts of the earth to devour and to destroy, man. And that's what's taking place, man. When all the upticks of dog bites taking place on the planet Earth, man. What else? We got other ones. What? It's the Florida reports 13 cases of flesh-eating bacteria. Death toll climbs to 8 down in Florida. They got that bacteria that's just ravaging, I guess the Florida beaches and whatnot. Because these people don't understand that the beach have to be at a certain level, and if you got any kind of temperature, the water need to be a certain temperature when you go out there. They should tell you what the beach temperature is when you're going out. If you go look it up before you go to the beaches. And if your sons and your daughters, they got any kind of open sores, man, or any kind of open cuts on their body, they're more susceptible to these flesh-eating bacteria to enter into their bloodstream. And that's something you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans need to be looking out for when you take your sons and your daughters to these beaches. But it's all scriptural, man. Again, we got it right here. Let's go to this Job 18 and verse 13. And matter of fact, Job 18 and 13. It says, disease eat their skin, and death devour their limbs, man. And that's part of that that flesh-eating disease, man. Bacteria. The death toll climbs to 8. It's a lot. You gotta get rid of all of that. I can't stop these pop-ups, so I ain't even gonna try. But that's part of that flesh. Florida has 13 cases of what? Vibrio, Vonificus, vulnificus, man, bacteria, commonly known as flesh-eating, across 11 counties, man. So it's all scriptural, man. These things that's why you gotta, again, you gotta walk circumspectly, redeeming the time, because the days are evil, and the days are evil, man. You also have what, you got these the fight that took place up in Houston, man. You got nation rising up against nation. All these things are Bible prophecy, man, because the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, man. Because if Esau knew how to govern the earth right, things will be going, matter of fact, ain't no sense me trying to, we'll just go to Proverbs. Let's go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 29. The book of Proverbs, chapter 29 and verse 2, it says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. People mourning. People are mourning all over the earth, man. They mourning job loss. They mourning loss, the death of their loved ones. They are mourning because the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. And you Negro Latinos and Native Americans, y'all gonna have to accept that Esau Edom, the so-called self-professed white man, he is the wicked, that the Bible speaks of. What else we got going on, man? You got well, what should you be doing, man? Let's go to the book of Colossians. I should have it up right here. The book of Colossians, chapter 3 and verse 5. And this came out last night as the brothers were having a spiritual conversation, and study. It said, mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth, fornication, uncleanliness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, covetousness, which is idolatry. And we're going to see what this mortify is.
Strong's G 3499. Necrao.
We're going to go down to the outline of biblical usage. What? It's to make dead, to put to death, to slay. So you got to make dead the old you, man. To make dead the old you. And then what? Then you start listening to the prophets and pray that the Lord Yahweh shall put a spirit, that you have a spirit of understanding. So you got to make dead the old me. You got to get away, from going around large crowds. You got to get, and we're not telling you that you should, we're talking about these, whatever the so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans are, and even Esau Edom, because that nigga, what, he's as death and cannot be satisfied. So wherever he goes, death gonna follow him. So you're gonna have to understand that I can't go around him too tough. You don't want to be around 2/3 of the Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans too tough, because they is, they also wicked. So what you got to do is you got to put off that old man, and then you got to put on that new spirit of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, man. So you need to mortify the old you and becoming the new you, matter of fact. And we got that pulled up right here. Let's go to 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 17. This came out last night also. Therefore, if any man be in Yahweh Shah, he's a new creature. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things become new. You want to be in the newness of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. So we're going to close it out there, man. Put on, mortify the old you so that you can be the new you in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. So in closing, I want to give all honor, all glory, all praise to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, Bashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to our apostles, our bishops and elders, great millstone. Double honors to the high priest elders that taught those men. And salutations to you brothers that are presenting their bodies as a living sacrifice through the four corners of the earth, and calling on the name of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. Shalom.